pick, Bino Cook. They've been playing big games in Notre Dame for 70 years. He will join us later. Newt Rockne, a big part of that tradition. What does Florida State have for tradition? Lee Corso? It's a mismatch. We'll look at these two universities comparison coming up. In the meanwhile, the fans here have upped the ante. It's no longer just 5 days down in Orlando. Now it's a Mercedes-Benz for 2 tickets. That's how big it is. Lee wants to trade his Mercedes for a press pass. We'll come back with more from South Bend in a minute. The Bowden-Holt showdown coming up. Two of the more animated coaches in college football. Get it? Animated. Lou doesn't look good there. He looked a lot better this morning when he talked to Pam. But you say there's something that's factually outdated about that cartoon,
yeah, especially with Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden has turned over the play calling calls. Right now, offensively, the offensive coordinator, Brad Scott. Bobby Bowden is now acting as a CEO. He doesn't call the plays as he has in the past. Notice him last year. He's in direct contact with the press box. He was calling the plays. This year, more relaxed, he makes the major decisions. On the other side of the ball, Lou Holtz is an active coach. He doesn't have the headsets on because he doesn't want to talk to anybody and have them disrupt him. But I think one of the major reasons that Florida State is doing really well on offense is the fact that they've got a new offensive caller in Brad Scott, and he's got them really going wild.
There's evidence of that in the Miami game. When Florida State got ahead in a big game, they did not just shut down the fast-break offense. They kept after it. Now, this morning, Pam Oliver spoke with Bowden as the countdown continues to kickoff.
Good morning, Coach. How you feeling?
Hey, Pam, how you doing? Feeling real good. It's about time, isn't it?
Any thoughts about the weather? What concerns you?
Looks like this. Looks sent from heaven.
The weather, as far as the winds, are you concerned about the wind?
I don't know. We've played the rain 3 times.
What do you think your team's chances are today? Everyone seems pretty relaxed.
Well, yeah, we got to play the game, see who's the best.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Got to play the game, see who's the best. Yeah. Final coach's cliche before he heads inside the locker room. Let's start to break down some of the aspects of this ball game now. Florida State, it's really strength versus strength because they have great big play receivers. Notre Dame's got good tackling secondary guys.
Well, Chris, let me give you a stat. It's really astounding. Florida State's wideouts have caught 62% of all of the receptions this year. But the thing they do best is after they catch the ball, boom, they turn into a ball carrier. They do better than any other team in the nation. If you'll notice when they catch the ball on a short pass, like Kaz does right in here, they like to throw the ball short to the receivers. Now notice, count the yardage he makes after he catches the football. There's 5, there's 10. They do this constantly. What happens in this situation is they make little plays into big plays, and I think, Craig, that's going to be a major part in this ball game. The yardage that Florida State makes after they catch the ball against those Notre Dame defensive backs.
I'll tell you what I did notice in that film right there. I noticed that was the University of Maryland that they were running against right there, and it's not Notre Dame. It'll be a much tougher secondary today that Florida State faces, and they're a secondary that has 3 or 4 good, solid players led by number 21, Bobby Taylor, and this guy on the outside controls things. This guy's going to play on Sunday afternoons. Notice how quick he comes out of his coverage to the receiver. Boom! Said a whoop, there it is. Now, when it comes to the ender of the field, number 9, Jeff Burris, he controls that secondary part. There is nobody that's going to have a big gap between the Notre Dame secondary and the Florida State receivers. One key issue here, though, is the health of the Irish secondary. 3 of their defensive backs had to sit out practice this week. They are expected to play, but as you know, Bobby Taylor has a pulled groin, which could affect him.
Not so fast, my friend. I thought one of those plays were against Navy, right?
Yeah, Navy was up.
Florida State's not Navy. I can promise you that.
Yeah. The secondary may have a tougher task catching and tackling those Florida State wide receivers. I think one of the reasons why this is such a compelling matchup, maybe more compelling even than a Florida State-Miami game, is this is North versus South. There's so many things to compare and contrast with these two very diverse universities.
It is North versus South, cold versus warm, small and Catholic versus large and public. It's Smash Mouth versus Shotgun, Leprechaun with Shillelagh versus Chief with Spear, sensitive 90s man Phil Donahue versus 70s man's man Burt Reynolds. Now, Notre Dame was staunchly all-male until 72. From 1907 until 47, FSU was the Florida State College for Women. Notre Dame teams were called the Catholics, then the Ramblers, before becoming the Fighting Irish. FSU students voted to become Seminoles over Statesmen, Senators, Golden Falcons, Indians, and Crackers. Crackers?
Ashes low, flames burnt out.
Notre Dame has a rich lore. The Gipper and his coach, Rock Newtony. His 2 Seminoles called him this week. FSU had the Sunshine Scooter. The Irish have had 7 Heisman Trophy winners and claimed 11 national championships. The Noles are working on their first of each.
They got us there, there's no doubt about it. And we just have to hope they can't match our speed.
Notre Dame had the four horsemen, but Florida State fields a fearsome foursome. Paul Azinger, Jeff Sluman, Hubert Green, and Jane Geddes. Florida State was recently voted #1 party school by a national publication. Notre Dame was not. Irish students can slug it out at the annual Bengal Bouts. FSU students can join the school's high-flying circus and get 1 credit for it. Notre Dame produced the immortal Montana. Florida State produced the immortal Dan Tana. Robert Urich.
Hey, Cracker Jack, just trying to make a living and not get killed, huh? Oh, yeah, this is Dan Tana.
So it's come to this, a meeting of two colorful, diverse universities bringing out the finest in school pride.
Linda Kaiser from Vero Beach, Florida, sent me this in honor of the game. A toilet seat.
Have we had a Regis sighting yet today? I have not seen him. He may show up for the game. I don't know. Rockne and Montana against Corso and Dan Tana.
No.
It's a mismatch.
No.
We have heard rumors that there are other games going on this weekend. We'll talk about those in a minute.
They're getting ready for the game, of course. Scott Bentley was one of those players to come out to try to get ready for this. He's going to be in a lot of trouble today, probably, especially from a fan standpoint. He's been out practicing, and he's missed a couple. Wide left, wide right as well. And these people here, fans, have gathered to give him grief already. Want to talk quickly about the turf. It's actually in pretty good shape. It's dry. In some places, it's very slick, and that should not be a factor. They took up the tarp about an hour ago. So to get the players out here and ready to go. Now, we also saw Kevin McDougal. He's out here ready to go. And I must tell you that everyone seems to be fairly relaxed, ready to go, get this game over with. Chris?
All right, Pam, thank you. Got to be a lot of magic hanging around there. Let's break it all down now. We've talked about this game for about 2 weeks, it seems. All kinds of aspects and angles. Let's break it all down. Craig, who wins?
I just look at the ball game simply as this. Neither team has great defenses out there. It'll come down to the offenses. Kevin McDougal for the Irish, Charlie Ward for the Seminoles. If it gets in a shootout match, the Seminoles win. I look at it 36-31 that Florida State wins the football game. They've got too much talent and speed. Notre Dame has not faced this kind of speed at all this year.
Okay, I like Charlie Ward. I like his scramble ability. Watch a goal line defense. I like a block punt by Florida State. I'll take Florida State 31-30. Hey! 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 I'll take Notre Dame 31-30.
It's tough to not be influenced by this environment here. You're pretty sure that Florida State can cope with the mystique and cope with all the aspects of playing a game in Notre Dame until you get out here and until you see the pep rally and the spirit. And all of a sudden, I know you wanted to change your pick.
Not now. I'm going with Florida State.
I think Florida State wins as well. I think the key for the Seminoles is avoiding a special teams or defensive touchdown by the Irish. Under Holtz, they've been absolutely amazing at creating a touchdown off that. If they can do that, you have to love Notre Dame's chances. If they can't, I like Florida State. I think the Seminoles will win by 4 points. Charlie Ward is the difference. Here's our menu on ESPN. Our primetime game, the game we kicked around, the Aggies and